Hey friends, welcome to One Little Coder's weekly AI news update. At this point, I want you to pause the video and then I want you to tell me what is your favorite model or what is the model that you use frequently. Like it could be Zephyr 7 billion parameter model, it could be E, or it could be ChatGPT, it could be GPT-4. I want to know what is something that you use irrespective of any of those benchmarks that are available. Let's get started with the video. The first thing that I wanted to discuss today is Nvidia very recently announced that Nvidia has launched a new system called HGX H200 system. This is basically Nvidia supercharges the Hopper, which is like their AI computing platform. If you see the Nvidia HGX H200, so this is the first GPU according to them offer HBM3E. So now what is the big deal about HBM3E? So it has got faster and larger memory to fuel acceleration of generative AI. So this seems like particularly targeted at generative AI and also like a bunch of high performance computing HPC. With HBM3E, the Nvidia H200 delivers 141 GB memory at 4.8 terabytes per second. So this is like more than double of what Nvidia A100 is offering. So this seems like it's going to get shipped in the second quarter of 2024. This is all targeted primarily at like very large corporations who want to train foundational models or who want to have a data center that is like primarily focused on generative AI, but still it is like a huge innovation to be honest. The next one is from Langchain. So Langchain expands its collaboration with Microsoft. So it was kind of like a weird blog post to be honest. Like it doesn't have a lot of details other than like Langchain is helps you supporting assistance, co-pilots, helps you build a natural language discovery experience and all the other things. One thing that I found very interesting in this is how Langchain says that from startups to Fortune 500 companies use Langchain, rely on Langchain to augment existing offerings with premium features to create a new revenue stream. This is almost like a SaaS thing. Like if you have got like a normal SaaS application, software as a service, then probably you can use something like Langchain to leverage large language models and build on top of it, and then you can probably have probably a better like premium feature for your customers, and they might end up paying more money. So this partnership doesn't have a lot of details, but it seems like Langsmith plays a huge role. Langsmith is Langchain's SaaS product, and it seems like you're combining Langchain plus Langsmith with Microsoft Azure and like different parts of Microsoft tools. Yeah, it's good to see this open source project. I mean, they have already raised fundings and all, but it's good to see the open source project here like being featured in a lot of different places. It goes into the details about how it's going to be integrated deep into product integration and marketplace and all these things. But yeah, generally a corporate PR news. The other interesting aspect was Google Bard. Google Bard has expanded Google Bard for teens. Like just because of this, I got to know that previously teens could not use Google Bard. I didn't know that there was an age restriction, but yeah, now you can use Google Bard if you're a teen, and if you have an eligible Google account, even if you're a teen, you can use Google Bard, and that comes with a bunch of new features. One thing that I actually kind of liked is Google Bard can now generate charts from tables or data included in the prompt. So you can go to Google Bard and then say, okay, I want you to make a chart for this. It can make a chart for this. Or you can say, take the following array, x is equal to 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, and make a line chart with this. And I don't know if it is going to ask me for y-axis, but anyways, it's Google Bard, and Google Bard can understand equations better, render equations, and it can also understand the input that you have given, and it can also give you the chart. Okay, it kind of assumed the y value here and it has made the chart for you, and you also get to use the code behind the chart, which is kind of cool. Like it almost seems like they want teens to do homeworks or their assignments on Google Bard. Anyways, Google Bard has expanded, and it can render charts, something that ChatGPT can do with advanced data analysis or code interpreter, but Google Bard by default can do that. The next one is a blog post by Simon Willison, somebody who always makes like amazing blog posts. Like you should definitely follow him on Twitter or subscribe to his blog post. This blog post is particularly exploring the GPTs from OpenAI Dev Day, and it goes into a lot of details about like what he likes about the GPT or whatever this thing is called as GPT, and some of the blog posts that some of the GPTs people created that he likes and what they have done. It goes into a lot of details. Either you are like complete beginner in the OpenAI GPT's world, or you are like a hardcore programmer. I think this blog post offer you something interesting for you to learn and how you can use GPTs for your own task workflow and to your advantage. I kind of liked it. Like it is really good, and I wanted to share with you. Definitely go read about this if you're interested in GPTs as a marketplace, as a no code tool. The next one is again an interesting aspect. Like DeepMind or Google has been often blamed for not releasing large language models or not releasing tools in the AI world when OpenAI is continuously shipping, except the drama. Just I want to keep the drama out. So DeepMind or Google Brain or Google, they have a lot of different things confusing. So DeepMind.Google or Google DeepMind has released a new product or a new tool, and it's basically like AI for music. So if you see, they have created or launched a new tool or a model called Lyria. So Lyria is a new AI, and that can basically take your inputs and create audio tracks for you. And it can also it also has got like certain musical tools to help artists, songwriters, come up with their creative element. I really like the video that they had put together, how artists can use existing tools to accelerate their creativity. But this was a bit like I was like very interested in. Let me play it for you. So somebody basically says that like sings and then says make it a saxophone solo or track, and it makes it. And that track can be now embedded into YouTube Shorts. So this is something that Google DeepMind has launched, like part of the thing that is powering this is called the Lyria model that can generate high quality music, and they have partnered up with like musicians. I don't know who they are. Like maybe they are so famous, Charlie Puth and T-Pain. So maybe they're like super famous. They have partnered up with famous artists, so they also get some kind of revenue share. And you can use AI music without having to have worried about copyright tracks and all these things. It's a very interesting release from DeepMind, which kind of tries to go deeper into basically like what is happening in your life. DeepMind also recently released a weather forecasting new model, like completely new model that can do like really accurate, highly accurate weather forecasting. And they also released the model weights. They also released a collab notebook that you can, I think they didn't release the collab notebook, they released a code that you can use to do it. So it seems like Google DeepMind is trying to work and release tools that can probably change our lives, and not in the LLM way. That's how I take it. It's from Meta AI. It is called Emu Video, Emu Edit. I don't know if you call it this Emu. It's that bird. So what this lets you do is it lets you create these AI generated videos that are really high quality. I know like you have got like Runway ML, and there are other tools that let you create video, but this almost looks like amazing. Very strangely, they didn't decide to release the model weights. I don't know what is the reason. Like usually people give safety as a reason, but it does a pretty good job in generating these AI videos. And it's not just like it can generate videos, it can also make image edits. Like for example, you can go here and just give a text, and then based on the prompt it can like ground based on it, and then create a new image for you. And it seems like really good. This almost seems like what Google Pixel has been putting as one of their biggest features as like the magical eraser. So this can do much more than that. And I don't know, for strange reasons they didn't release the model weights, but the paper and all the other things are released for you to use. So this is Meta AI Emu Video and Emu Edit. The next one is from Microsoft Ignite. I already published like a 10-minute, a 15-minute supercut video if you were to see that. But Microsoft is also entering into the chip industry, which is something that almost like everybody is doing at this point. Google has got Google Tensor, Apple has got Apple Silicon, like for both computers and also for mobile phones. So Microsoft is now entering into this domain, but particularly focused on data centers and cloud computing. So the next one is a new open science lab from France. You already know that the companies like Hugging Face and Mistral are based out of France, and now there is a new open science AI lab that is called Kyutai. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correct. Kyutai, it's a new open science lab based out of France, or like specifically in Paris, and their mission is to build and democratize AGI through open science. So they basically want to build models and then release it openly. This is a non-profit organization. We all know some other non-profit organization, but anyways, Kyutai is ideally supposed to build models and then share it with the world, completely open for free, so that we can use the model and then they can help in democratizing AGI, artificial general intelligence. The next one is a new technique that I wanted to say cover. Is called ZipLoRA. Back in the day of stable diffusion, you all know that everybody was building their own LoRa, and merging LoRas were like a fun activity at the time. You would take a style LoRa, you would take like a new image LoRa, and then you would try to combine these two so that you can get something totally different. In fact, people have combined two style LoRas, and it has been always big fun. This new paper from Google Research is about a new technique to effectively merge two LoRas, and that's what they're calling a ZipLoRA. And if you see this particular technique, they're showing some examples. So they're comparing this with other LoRa combination, LoRa merging methods. For example, if you have got the stuffed animal, this is that object, and then you have like three styles. One is the watercolor painting style, the flat cartoon illustration style, watercolor painting style. When you merge it, this is their output, and you can see the other outputs. So their output seems to closely match with the style and also retain the characteristics of the object. So this is a very interesting technique that very recently came out, and people have already created code. This is just a research paper, but this paper has been replicated as an open code for you to use if you are interested in stable diffusion and the LoRa side of things. The next one is a new model. This model is called Inflection 2 from a very popular company at this point called Inflection. They have their own AI called Pi, and we have used Pi on this channel before. So Pi is trying to be like a very personal assistant and all the other things, but they're also big on censorship. So the new model that they're calling as Inflection 2, they're claiming to be the second best model in the world, because everybody knows GPT-4 is the first best model, or the best. What is the first best model? The best model in the world. So this Inflection 2 is ideally supposed to be the second best model, and it has improved in factual knowledge, better stylistic control, and also it has improved in reasoning. And you can see on multiple benchmarks how Inflection 2 is doing better than Inflection 1. And for some reason, they have decided to compare it with Palm 2, because I think they don't want to look bad when they are comparing it with GPT-4. I think there are certain cases where they are comparing with GPT-4, but yeah, mostly they are comparing with Palm 2. And in this blog post, it's quite weird because they are also flexing a lot about their own GPT cluster. You can see like as scaling journey continues, we are already looking forward to training even larger models on the full capacity of a 22,000 GPT cluster. And they're talking about how they signed an agreement, or signed something with the White House on the voluntary commitments for global alignment and all the other kind of things. Yeah, it's a weird blog post, to be honest. I'm not sure like who is the intended audience. Maybe it's like big enterprises, banks, KPMG, ENI, PwC. Like they want all these auditing companies and banks to use their product, or maybe they just want to say that they're the friends of the government. In either case, it's supposed to be the second best model. So this is, you can see a lot of different benchmarks they have added here, and this is just one level below GPT-4, and this model is not available for you to use now at this point, but soon this model will be powering Pi, the chatbot, so that you can start using Inflection 2 if you want to use. The next one is a smaller model. We are taking a completely opposite turn. So this is a model that has been fine-tuned by somebody called Acrast. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correct. It's a pseudonym, I guess. Acrast. This model is interestingly a fine-tune of stable diffusions. Stability AI stable LM 3 billion parameter model. So if they've taken the stable LM 3 billion parameter model and fine-tuned on data forge economics data, which is from Technium, very popular fine-tuner. So this model is supposedly doing really good on a lot of different questions, and I actually got a mail from the creator of this model explaining how good this model is. Like, I don't have the benchmark data, but when you check, you can see that the model is doing actually good on a lot of different questions. And the model is not being discussed a lot in the open source community, but I guess like this is one of the testaments of how smaller models can do good if you fine tune it with good data set. I would probably also put together a tutorial soon on fine tuning the 3 billion parameter model. But the point here is the model is good at instruction following. The model is good with the fine tuned knowledge or the style of economics it has got. So definitely a model that is worth checking it out. And again, like I said, it's a completely opposite approach of what we have taken. The previous model we saw is Inflection 2 completely closed, biggest model, 22,000 GPU cluster. But this model, it's a QLoRa trained model. It's completely open source for you to use, CC by SA 4.0, and you get the data set, you get the model, the base model, everything is available for you to use. So definitely worth trying it out. The next one is a multimodal model. It is called CogVLM. So CogVLM is a new multimodal model. From the looks of it, it seems like it is coming from China. From the language that is included here. So this is a 17 billion parameter model. The 17 billion parameter model has got 10 billion vision parameters and 7 billion language parameters. And if you see this model, this is one of the best multimodal model, the vision plus language model, VL model, that is available in the world. So previously we have discussed about QuenVL and QuenVL being one of the best models available out there, but CogVLM seems to be one of the best out there if you see right now. So Quen is the orange color, the CogVLM 17 million parameter is the purple color. In fact, you can see that it is doing better than the PALI X 55 billion parameter model and the Palm, which is again from Google Palm E 84 billion parameter model. And you can see how good it is across all these benchmarks, and you can see a couple of examples as well when you go to their paper. So it is good at visual math problem solving. Like for example, you've got like two pieces of apple and then you're asking what is it, it says 2 plus 1, and it gives you the final answer. So it is particularly good at a lot of these tasks. Why it is important? I think it is important because in the current scenario, GPT-4 vision seems to be one of the best models that are available, that is specifically for vision plus language, VL model. So this model seems to be doing good, and having an open source model that is doing good is always good for us to expand the research, for us to start using open source models. The biggest catch here is that the model weights are available for you to use, but the biggest catch is that you need 40 GB GPU for inferencing alone. So you need 40 GB VRAM for inferencing. So it's a lot of VRAM, and if you do not have single GPU, then you can use accelerate to diffuse the memory across these GPUs. But again, the code is available, but for me to try out, I think I need 40 GB GPU inference. But otherwise, I guess like this is quite an impressive model. The model is released with Apache 2.0 license, completely open. People can start using this model. This is CogVLM model. So the next one is a new technique that has been quite popular a couple of days back. This new technique is called LookAhead Decoding. So whenever you are using large language models, when you are doing inference, one of the things the large language model is doing is it is trying to auto-regressively decode what is going to be the next one. That's why these are also called as auto-regressive models. So if you look at this particular demo, you would be surprised to see how much, just by changing the technique in which it does the decoding, you can see the model's inferencing speed is like really fast. This is the normal auto-regressive decoding. This is the look-ahead decoding. And the folks here have released the code and the techniques that they've used here. What they have done, they have introduced a new parallel decoding algorithm to accelerate the LLM inference. Because at this point, everybody wants this LLM inference, which is like you ask a question, it's going to give an answer, to be faster. It does not use any draft model or a data store, and it linearly decreases the number of decoding steps relative to the flops, log of flops used per decoding step. That means like in a particular given hardware, you would be able to do more decoding in turn. And the comparison, like I say, like the comparison is really amazing. If you want to see how they have done it, like very briefly, so they are building on top of a technique that is called Jacobi iteration. So they have taken the motivation from Jacobi decoding, which in this case, if you see here, these are the pre-filled tokens, something like, let's say you are sending it, and these are the guess tokens the model is trying to guess, and out of the guess tokens, this is what is accepted. Like for example, Alan Turing is the pre-filled token, and the next one should be S. So the S is accepted token, A is the next accepted token, but where does it come from? It comes from the guess tokens, and there is a step that actually verifies at the end, and whenever it is accepted, it moves it ahead, and then you can see that is how it is filling in. So this is how the Jacobi iteration or the LLM decoding with Jacobi iteration works, but it does not scale up well. So for that, what they have done is they have said, okay, we will create something called LookAhead Decoding that takes the advantage of Jacobi decodings, but the main technique is like the ability to collect and cache engrams, and they're also doing like a 2-gram pool. So for example, this is the pre-fill token, and they're going to guess, and after the guess, you can see there is a 2-gram. N-gram is like n number of tokenized words in text. So here they are using a 2-gram pool, and you can see there is always a 2-gram. Who is a, the best, he should, just a, great computer. So this is going to be part of the look ahead pool. So the LLM is going to look ahead here, and it is going to always look for the next best words or tokens, and then it would use that verification to verify, and then it would update it, and this has increased the speed massively, and you can go ahead and then see more details here. But it is like it has a lot of speed improvements, and I guess like a lot of people would start using it. I also saw from there is a editor called cursor.ai, and I saw one of the engineers of Cursor mentioning that they are using something like lookahead decoding to accelerate the inference speed. So it is mind-blowing. In the next section, I'm particularly going to talk about money, and I wanted to let you know about how, like, we have been discussing a lot of LLMs and AI on this channel, but if you were to take advantage of it, what are the things that you can do? The first thing is there is a startup called Defog. We have covered their model previously on the channel. They have released some SQL models which are quite amazing, open, but also doing much better than a lot of closed models. So Defog has announced a $2.2 million fund to build LLMs for data analysis. The reason why I wanted to cover this news, of course, like, this is good. This is a team that has already released open source models, so I wanted to share the news with you. But also, I think this is how you should think about LLMs. Don't think about LLMs like one LLM that can solve the entire world's problem. Like, you don't want like OpenAI to for every single thing that you're going to do. If you want to build a business on top of LLMs, you need to start thinking about verticals. You don't think about horizontals, you think about verticals. Can you build an LLM, or can you fine tune an LLM, or can you make an LLM to solve specific problem in a particular vertical? Let's say you take tax audit companies, and can you build an LLM for them? Can you build an LLM for data analysis? Can you build an LLM for, let's say, cardiologists? So you pick up these kind of verticals and try to build LLMs or fine tune LLMs. I think that will definitely give you the moat that everybody's been talking about, and that will also give you that early mover advantage where you can continuously improve these models, and finally you get to make money. You can have customers, you can raise funds. So something that you need to keep in mind if you are thinking about LLMs, do not think about generalized LLMs, think about specifics. Think about how you can take LLMs for your particular domain. Like, for example, can you have a fine-tuned vision language model that takes all the CAD drawings and then make it better? So think about particular vertical, and then think about how you can use your LLM knowledge for that. I think that will give you a much better edge than anybody else who are trying to just try out every single model for all the general purpose. So congratulations to the Defog team for raising $2.2 million. This is in the same domain as Pandas AI. Pandas AI almost said the same thing, that they want to build LLMs for data analysis, but in Defog's case, they have their own model, and that model is like a pretty good model we have covered on this channel before. The next one that I wanted to talk about money is from Pieter Levels, who is a very popular indie hacker at this point. Got like a lot of startups running. So Pieter Levels have done first 100% ChatGPT is now monetized. So this is a GPT, We have covered GPTs before. It's like a no code editor for you to build your own, let's say, GPT experience. So what Peter Levels has done is quite brilliant, to be honest. So he has built a GPT where you can go chat with it, but instead of just sharing the GPT with everybody, he has put it behind a paywall. See, I'm all for open source, but at the same time, like, people have to feed their family, and you need to make money. So Peter Levels have put that behind the paywall. That means you first go pay $10, and that will give you an ability to chat with this GPT and then get the response back. It's quite amazing. Like, first thing when you click it, you go there. There is no landing page at all. I think this is like almost the 2023 version of how you build a minimalized MVP. So you go there, you pay your data, like you give your details here, and once you do that, you get the link to the GPT that he has built, which is profile-review.com, or whatever the GPT name is. Then you get to get your profile reviewed by this. And I think this is another great example of how you can monetize your AI LLM knowledge. If you have got ChatGPT Plus subscription, then you can definitely do this thing. And I think his startup is like currently running at $240 dollars per month. I think this is one time. This might not be like a per month. It's not like a subscription business, but still, I think it is a great way to test your ideas on the internet. Let's say, again, we spoke about moat. You don't need moat here. You just try out an idea. You have 10 different ideas what you can do with LLMs. You try out these kind of ideas with the GPT that you build, and then see if people are willing to share their credit card details or pay money to you. Then you can build your own model, fine tune the model, reduce the cost. You can do all the things in the world, but this is a great idea. On the same GPTs, I wanted to share one more GPT that was quite popular this week, which is Kannada Gottu GPT. This is basically for you to learn Kannada. But again, the idea here is that you focus on a particular vertical. You don't build a Q&A GPT again, like GPT is Q&A, ChatGPT is Q&A, all the LLMs are going to do Q&A, but you pick a particular vertical and you use it. Like, Kannada is a language that is being spoken in Karnataka, a state in India, and I live in Bangalore, so I don't know Kannada very well. I know a little bit. So GPTs like this could be like your personal AI tutor to learn a particular language or a concept or something. And all it takes is for you to do a little bit of experiment with the prompt, little bit of back and forth conversation with GPT, and then I think you have like a really good GPT. Imagine like putting this behind a paywall and then sharing it with, I think a lot of people would pay for like a tutor that can teach them genuinely something. I think all these are like really amazing. Like that's why I wanted to share this particular segment. I'm sorry, like if it had gone beyond the time that I wanted to cover it, but ultimately, what we should do is we should try to learn something new, and we should try to see how it can make a difference. Either it is through money, or it is through helping somebody, or it is through something else. You know that better than me, but at the end of the day, that is what I'm trying to help you here, and that is what probably you should be watching this video, so that you can expand your knowledge and do something about it. Not necessarily about money all the time, but do something about it. I hope this video's AI summary was helpful. I'm sorry we had less amount of papers, but if you have any feedback and question, let me know in the comment section. See you in another video. Happy prompting.